Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Rebound, and I am back at it again with another video. So, the topic of narcissism comes up a lot on this channel. And the reason why I bring up this topic is because it was very beneficial in my healing process when I discovered what narcissism was, or what narcissistic personality disorder was. And the goal here on this channel is really to allow the viewer to understand what this disorder is, and therefore identify it in real life, and really do what they can to heal from it. And you know at the beginning of the channel, I really identified the character traits of the narcissist, but I wanted to go ahead and really break down more characteristics of both the overt and covert narcissists, because I do have a significant amount of new viewers. And I feel that for those of us who have gone down examining the narcissist, right, going down that rabbit hole, sometimes we assume that the viewer knows just as much as we do. And so I feel that, from time to time, it's very important to get back to the basics, right? And so I believe what separates my channel from a lot of other channels that talk about this specific disorder is the fact that I do add in the spiritual connection, right? So if you look at this world as from a biblical worldview, you understand that you have God's children down here, and then you also have Satan's children. And so there is this battle between good or evil going on. And what's interesting is society likes to shape evil as being, intense, extreme, over exaggerated. And so evil could be sitting right in front of us and we would never realize it. And a lot of people who have encountered narcissism are narcissists in their day-to-day life. They are deceived by them, and they don't acknowledge, that person has some sort of disorder. And a lot of people trust narcissists, right? So here on the channel, I always speak, on the fact that I do believe that narcissists are the majority, and they truly do run society, which is why society is completely dysfunctional, right? So once again, when it comes to examining the narcissist, there is a spectrum, right? So on one end of the spectrum, you have the overt narcissists. And then on the other end, you have the covert narcissist. Now, when it comes to who they are on the inside, they're quite similar, but on the surface, they do appear to be very different. And so in this video, what I'm going to do is just really break down the traits of both the covert narcissist and the overt narcissist, just so that the viewer has, a better understanding of the character traits of these individuals, so that they can better identify them in their day-to-day life, right? So when it comes to examining the narcissist, you have to realize that they have a huge sense of entitlement, right? So they believe that people are beneath them, right? And it's their world, and we just happen to be in it. The narcissist is also someone who deeply has an exaggerated sense of self, right? Everything that they do is some sort of exaggeration, from the stories that they tell to their encounters with, everyday people, right? These people believe that they should be admired 24/7, and that they are superior, right? And another trait of the narcissist, you have to understand that they go in society wearing this mask. They show society their quote unquote best, but that's really not who they truly are. And these individuals also lack empathy, right? And this can be very dangerous, because if you can't place yourself in someone else's shoes, there's no telling what you can do to them when it comes to traumatizing them, right? And they really do a great job at taking advantage of others. And because of the abuse that they have endured during childhood, I believe that they have this very distorted view of reality, right? So they live in some type of fantasy world. And once again, this goes back to the grandiosity, right? This goes back to living life like it's a fairy tale, right? So a lot of them have this very childlike way of examining the world. And, let's just say with the Disney programming, you have, the happy ever after, right? The prince and the princess, right? And once again, their distorted view of reality really makes them, difficult to work with, right? I guess you can say. They're very great at demeaning others. They really focus on the power of intimidation and bullying, right? So we can see this within the family dynamic. We can also see this in the working dynamic and in the relationship setting. And so, once again, these are going to be traits of the overt narcissist, right? And another element that I forgot to mention earlier is the narcissist needs to be in control, right? The narcissist needs to have someone to belittle, right? And to project who they are onto their victim of abuse, right? Because the narcissist is unwilling to introspect. And therefore, if they can control somebody, then and project who they are onto that person, this is how they are able to get through their day-to-day lives, right? And once again, they have this unrealistic view of perfectionism. The narcissists believe that the more they strive for perfection, they can become perfect, right? And they also, for those, people who they choose to be their partners, they believe that they should be perfect as well. And, another significant component to, of the narcissist is the fact that they truly do lack accountability. The narcissist rarely ever holds themselves accountable, and often they blame others, which is why the role of the scapegoat is highly important for them. This is why we see a lot of narcissists form relationships with codependents, right? So the codependent will take on the blame, and of course, the narcissist is the one who does the blame. Now, for those of you who have dated narcissists, you understand that they truly lack boundaries, right? So when it comes to touch, maybe the narcissist lacks boundary there. Or when it comes to sharing sexual experiences, the narcissist is also someone who really does lack boundaries there. Or, just a lot of things that are, kind of inappropriate, right? To speak on, right? So I believe, even in the work setting, a lot of us have to go through sexual misconduct training. And this is because we live in a world filled with narcissists. And because they lack boundaries, they're more likely to participate in these type of things, right? And the narcissist is someone who is definitely driven by attention, right? So going back to the sense of admiration, the narcissist is someone who definitely benefits on the need of seeking attention, right? And they constantly need to be validated because of their, fragile sense of ego. And however, they're unwilling to validate their victims of abuse. And when it comes to the concept of fear, the narcissist is driven by fear. So not only do they inflict fear on their victims of abuse, they are also motivated by fear. So the narcissist, because of the child abuse that they've endured, they fear abandonment or rejection. And this is something that highly motivates them, especially in the relationship setting. So the narcissist will typically abandon you before you abandon them, because they don't want to experience that type of injury, right? And what's also interesting is they really aren't able to be vulnerable, right? So no matter how much you try to get the narcissist to be vulnerable, it's just something that they can't, they truly don't have vulnerability. They can emulate it, but they really don't have it. Now, in the work setting, what I've noticed is narcissists love to interrupt others or speak over others or talk over others. And you see this at, company meetings, whether it's in person or it's virtual, the narcissist will typically do this, right? Or you can see this in the family dynamic when you're trying to explain an experience, the narcissist will speak over you and gaslight you and tell you that you did not have that experience, right? Now, one of the ways that the narcissist can bring people in is because they are very charming and persuasive, right? So this is the part of their false image. The narcissist is always going to give you the best that they have when you first meet them to draw the victim of abuse in. And this is one of the ways that we are deceived by them, right? So they seem to be this fantastic person when you first meet them, and slowly but surely you start to get devalued, abused, and then discarded. So these are going to be the traits of the overt narcissist. And I feel, it's really important to examine these traits so that you can better identify the narcissist in day-to-day life, because this is something that, in my opinion, truly does plague society. So now when it comes to the covert narcissist, they're a little different, right? So the covert narcissists, like hence the name covert, a lot of their abuse is done in the shadows. And because a lot of us who have been victims of, their type of abuse, because we're deceived by who they actually are, we tend to get abuse over time and not even realize it. So when it comes to examining the covert narcissist is someone who is the perpetual victim, right? They believe that, they are this misunderstood person, right? You'll notice that these individuals don't really have long-term friendships. And this could be due to all the character roles that they play. So every friend that they meet knows a different side of the covert narcissist, or this false illusion of who they are. And this is why the narcissist, really tries to separate their victims of abuse, because they don't really want us to compare our stories, right? So they're highly passive aggressive, right? So they're really good at backhand compliments. They're really good at belittling you or demeaning you in a covert way. And they create this perception that they're highly sensitive, right? And they are, right? So, and it's because they have this fragile ego, and because they lack self-esteem, they display, being highly sensitive. And, this could almost be confusing for the victim of abuse. So, what's interesting is the covert narcissist can sometimes seem like society's victim. The covert narcissist can seem like the scapegoat, or can seem like a wounded empath or a codependent. But although they appear that way, that's not who they are, because the narcissist lacks empathy, right? And they are all about themselves, right? So they don't really care about you. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care to acknowledge you. They don't care to validate you, because they are self-absorbed. And so this is what's going to separate the covert narcissist from those of us who have been scapegoated, or who have been codependent, or who have been wounded, being an empath. And once again, the covert narcissist is always in competition with you. They typically will, use their woe is me mentality to bring the victim of abuse in. And, there's a sense of, that they have to be better at you in everything that you do. And because you believe that they're victims, because this is what they say that they are, this is an easy way to get abused by them, right? So they still have a sense of superiority. They do feel that they are better than you. And because of that, we seem, for those of us who've had encounters with these individuals, we seem to get in a lot of trouble. Now, the covert narcissist, a lot of their abuse is going to be done indirectly. So the covert narcissist is really great at triangulating the victim of abuse. They're really great at altering people's perceptions of you. Typically, when it comes to their type of abuse, it's a lot more calculated. And it's so subtle that even if you were to bring it to their attention, it could seem like you're overthinking, right? And so this is going to really tie in with the gaslighting, right? And The covert narcissist is also really good at hitting you where it hurts, right? So let's just say if you had a covert narcissistic boss, they will, cut your hours so it can affect your finances, right? And they will do this to you while creating the illusion that you're actually the villain and altering people's perception of you. And so this is why, in my opinion, I do believe that, they are dangerous, right? So some other traits of the covert narcissist are, once again, they're always the one who's suffering, right? And they're really good at exaggerating any injuries that they have. So let's just say if the covert narcissist sprains an ankle, they will wear a cast, right? Maybe for months, just so people can feel sorry for them. So the covert narcissist gathers a lot of supply when people view them as vulnerable. And this is just a mask that they have, right? Whereas the overt narcissist, they gain supply, or I guess you could say energy, from their victim of abuse by inflicting trauma on their victims, right? And what's unfortunate is a lot of covert narcissists actually work in healthcare. And so because they do seem like codependents, a lot of people trust the covert narcissist. But remember, the covert narcissist is extremely insecure. They're extremely envious. And if you have something that they want, they will try to destroy you because of it. And because they lack empathy, there's no limits on, where they can go, right? So imagine having these people as leaders. Imagine, being a sick patient and you have one as a healthcare professional. They could really sabotage you when it comes to your health, and you would never see it coming. And so because narcissism is something that plagues our society, I believe that it's very beneficial for those of us who are not narcissists to really examine the character traits of these type of individuals, right? So this is spiritual warfare. And so where you see that the overt narcissist is more easy or easier to identify, the covert narcissist is going to be very, very, very subtle. And for a lot of us who have had covert narcissists as parents, it takes a long time to understand what we went through, right? So our emotions will show us that something wasn't right. However, we may view that parent as a good parent, right? As, someone who actually cared, even though they never really talked about emotions, even though they never validated our experience and, or acknowledged us, right? So, let's just say if you had a birthday and you don't hear from the covert narcissist, right? Because, they're one and the same when it comes to the overt narcissist, right? So once again, it's very important to understand these traits so that you're not deceived by these people. And the more traits that you can identify, the easier it is for you to really spot them out in person, right? Because the narcissist is always seeking who they can devour, right? And whereas the overt narcissist may be more charming, may, bring you into their world by doing nice things for you, the covert narcissist is going to make you feel sorry for them. And then when you let your guard down, then that's when they stab you in the back. So once again, when it comes to this disorder, when I woke up to it, it was very life-changing for me. And so, I want to go ahead and educate you all when it comes to examining who these individuals are, so that you're not deceived by them, right? Because the world is ran by narcissists. And in my opinion, I do believe, if I haven't said it already in this video, that they are the majority, hence why we have so many problems in society. So if you have any questions or if you have any topics that you want me to discuss, just go ahead and let me know. Don't forget to like the video, share and comment, and I will talk to you all next time. Have a great night. Bye.